Yeah.
This was with a different guy that I was in a relationship with, actually for quite a few years. And his mom and dad asked us to house sit for them for the weekend and dog sit. And we was like, yeah. They was like, while you're there, you can use our pool and, the game room downstairs and, order pizza and all that. And, it was great. It was a weekend away without kids. But anyways, the first night there, they had like this room that they called the boat room.
Oh, the boat room.
They had artifacts in there. Some were family heirlooms, but the clock that they had, the time on it was his grandfather's death time. As soon as his grandfather died, that clock stopped, and it never worked since. And like, you would just walk by the door to there and you could feel the darkness. I mean, you just feel it. There was no light in that room, and that room was filled with windows. It made no sense.
Yeah, it was a very dim room. And it wasn't because of the curtains.
And I mean, even when it was daytime, it was still dark in there. It was just crazy. But anyway.
And you can't sit there and say it was shade or anything because there was no trees around that area.
No.
And like right next door to it was the like the kitchen area.
Yeah.
And like the front door.
Yeah.
So there was plenty of light there.
Yeah.
So what's the excuse?
I don't know. They never could figure it out either. But anyways, the first night there, I walked by that room and I immediately got cold chills. I was like, mm-mm. And they had like a baby gate up that goes into that room, but there was also a door where you could shut it and just close that area of the house off. And that's where the basement was as well, was in that part underneath the boat room. Well, anyways, I told the guy that I was with, I was like, there's something not right about that room. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, every time I walk by there, I just get the cold chills. I mean, it just freaks me out. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I know that, my grandfather's clock's in there. And I was like, I don't really know if it's that. I was like, I'm not sure. And he's like, well, let's go in there. And I'm like, no, let's not. I did not want to go in there. I did not want to go in there with whatever that was.
You piqued his curiousness.
Oh my God, yeah. And he was all, let's go in there. Let's go in there, And he wouldn't shut up. He crossed that stupid gate. He's like, come on. Don't be a sissy. And I'm like, well, I'm not a sissy. Ain't nobody gonna call me no sissy. So I stepped across that gate and immediately it was cold. Like cold. You couldn't see your breath, but it was still chilly. It was definitely a good 20 degrees difference between the other part of the house. Well, I went on into the room and he was holding my hand, kind of leading me. I was like, this don't feel right. Something don't feel right. It's heavy in here. Like something was pressing on my chest. I said, I just feel like the air's thin, like I can't breathe. And he's like, well, we need to figure out what this is because maybe it's like carbon monoxide or something. And I'm like, whatever. I was like, you're not a genius or nothing. But anyways.
He thought he was.
We made it over to where the fireplace was. And that clock set up on the mantle there. And I took my hand. Feel that hand, and then feel this hand.
Oh, jeez.
My hand's freezing. But anyways, I took my right hand, the one that's freezing, and I touched that clock, and I swear to you not, Becky, it ticked. He even said it ticked.
Holy crap.
And he turned on his flashlight that he had in his pocket, because I don't know why we didn't use it to begin with. But he turned it on, and the second the second's hand had ticked a second. It had moved. And I'm telling you, surrounding that clock was like sticking your hand in a cooler filled with ice. I mean, it was just cold. And I told him, I was like, something has attached to that throughout all the homes that it's been through. You know, it was the grandparent, I can't remember which side, but all I know is it may have come from a different country. I don't know. Because, I mean, that guy that I was seeing then.
It was just a really old clock.
Had relatives all over the world. So, yeah, it was a very old clock. But, anyways, there was also a world atlas, you know, the ball I'm talking about.
Yeah, a globe.
And it was on a, like a tripod or whatever you want to call it. It was really pretty. It was ornamental. That was from another country as well that they had brought with them. And it had been passed through the family. And it started to move. The world did. And I looked at him. I was like, that's it. I'm out. I was like, I'm out. I can't. And I literally took off running back towards the door. And the door shut. And the dog gate was up. So the door wouldn't latch. So I was pushing back.
Yeah,
and finally it just swung open like nothing was there. And he was like, because we was going to sleep in that room.
Are you for real?
I'm for real. Because they had a pull-out mattress.
They did have a pull-out mattress in there. There was a couch in there. Yeah. And he was like, we're not sleeping in here. He's like, you know, there's another guest room. We'll sleep in there. So we ended up sleeping in that other room that night. And I mean, I slept just fine. It was just
the next day when I got up, walked by that room, cold chills again. And I was like, not happening. So I took that doggy gate down and I shut that door and locked it. I was like, I was like, if we need to check on anything, he can pick his head in there and check me out, whatever. I was like, I'm not going to that room again. And I didn't. That room terrified me. I mean, we had Christmas in there, and they had the light in the ceiling fan. It was on. They had the tree on. They had lights out in the other corners. And they had Christmas lights hanging. It was really pretty. Really, really pretty. His mom was a really great decorator. I'll give her that. She was a really great decorator. But anyways, so I mean, there was plenty of light, but it still felt so dark, you know? I know, it was just really kind of sad.
Yeah.
But that was the third paranormal experience I had. I don't know what it was, but that's everyone else's guess. The fourth was whenever the first time I visited Souls Chapel. I went there before it was burnt. And it was truly one of the most evil places I had been. I mean, I hadn't really been anywhere before that. That was the first place I'd went. And everybody went there. It was like a rite of passage, you know, when you was in high school, you had to go check out Souls Chapel, you know.
Yeah, even I did.
Well, I went with some friends, and whenever you walked up into there, the doors, you could see straight to the pulpit, and then there was the pews on right and left. You could tell that, you know, animals had been in there, you know, that, but also you could tell that people had been in there, because in front of where the pulpit was a huge pentagram, and there was candles all around it. There was bones in it. I mean, it just, and there was other candles in other places from rituals as well. Well, where the pulpit should have been had fallen through the floor. There was no pulpit there anymore. That was creepy because of the story of the pastor of that church.
Yeah, I've talked about that in a previous video.
That was an evil man. That was a cult. I mean, that was that was some wild stuff. I mean, I have nothing against the cult or anybody. I support all religion. I mean
that though, what they were doing,
no, that was just messed up. That was so messed up because most of them you could tell were evil.
Yeah, they
were evil. They were in an evil place. So it was scary. I mean, there was hair.
Yeah, it started.
Bones. There was teeth.
It started from
fingernail clippings. Jars. Yeah, So's Chapel was pretty creepy. It definitely was an experience that I never wanted to experience again. And actually, not too long after that, those two boys burnt it. So, I mean, still to this day, it's really sad, but people will go there and they will desecrate the graves. Like, they'll bust them, they'll knock them over. They, tag them, and it's sad. It's so sad.
It is.
And, like, we had a local doctor and a team of other doctors and people that went in and actually redid a lot of the stones and repaired them, and some of them were even, I think they bought some, and then they cut back all the grass, and because it hadn't been taken care of, and they went in and fixed it up, and someone went right back in there and did it again here recently. It's just so sad that people are stupid like that.
Yeah. I remember sad. The last time we went, there was food on the ground and garbage. And
and there was still an altar that was there on the steps.
Yeah, I remember the altar.
But anyways, I actually have a picture of something. I don't know what it is, but I was taking pictures that night, and I also had video, but some of the people that were with us were being really loud, so like I couldn't have caught anything if I really wanted to on sound, but I did catch something on camera, like a photo. So I'll let Becky have that and she can share that with y'all. Let's see, I've had quite a few actually. A lot whenever my son was young, in his like teenage years and stuff, we would all go to bed at night and all the lights would be off. TV was off. Just, we didn't run anything at night except for ceiling fans and sometimes the air conditioner. In the winter, it would be the heat. But there just wasn't a whole lot left on at night. Well, my son got up one night. He said he got up to go to the bathroom and the living room light was on. And he said he went to the bathroom and then he went in there and he turned off the living room light and went back to bed. Well, then he said that he got up again for school and the living room light was on again. And he was like, well, I guess Mom's been up, because usually I would get up and I would wake him up for school. But sometimes he was good and he would get up on his own. But anyways, he come and knocked on my bedroom door and I got up and he was like, oh, I thought you was already up. And I was like, no. And he's like, well, somebody's left the living room light on twice last night. And I was like, nobody's been up to be in there to turn on the light. And it kind of makes me wonder if maybe some of us wasn't sleepwalking or something, but so I don't know. But there would be some nights that we would turn everything off, everything would be fine, and then another night we would turn everything off and go to bed and wake up the next morning. Cabinets would be open, lights would be on. I don't know. It never felt really malicious. It just felt more playful. And then the last experience that I had, I was actually in the bathroom. Actually, it happened twice. The first time it happened, I was in the bathroom and I was scrolling on my phone, I think maybe through Facebook or something. And anyways, I heard, it sounded like if somebody opens a front door, the air that comes through pushes on like another door, and it could feel like somebody's trying to open the door. Well, I thought, oh, well, somebody's here, because I heard the noise like the front door open and shut. And the bathroom door had moved in and out. And I was like, oh, somebody's here. And so I hollered and I was like, hello. And after the door had pushed in, it was silent, like I didn't hear anything. But then it went like a minute or so, and I heard like somebody knock on the bathroom door, and they knocked 3 times. And I was like, who is it? I was like, Pam? I was like, who is this? And I got no response at all. And it freaked me out so bad. I was like, I'm done doing my business. And so I opened that bathroom door, and there was nobody there. I started hollering like, hello, who's here? No response. I went through every room. I looked in every closet. I checked everywhere, because I was like, there was somebody here. I know there was. So I get on the phone and I call my aunt that lives next to me. I'm like, hey, was you just over here at my house? And she was like, no. I was like, okay. And she's like, why? I was like, oh, no reason, because they don't really believe in that stuff. So, and then I think I called maybe my grandmother and my uncle and asked them if they had been down here, and they said no. And there was nobody else home that day but me. I don't know. Well, it went, I think I told Becky about it, and then she was like, oh, that's wild. Well, it went, like a month or so?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't long after. It was maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I was in the bathroom again, and I heard that same noise again, like my front door opened and closed, and the bathroom door kind of did that motion again, like it was, trying to open and close. Well, anyways, I knew instantly to pull my phone out. I was like, uh-oh, something scary happened. So I pulled my phone out and I recorded it. And something knocked again 3 times on the door. And I was like, who's there? Who's in here? And I get no response. And I think, did I go ahead and go out of the bathroom and walk around the house with the camera on? I don't remember. But anyways, I sent it to Becky. It's been so long ago since that's happened. Like, it's probably on my old iPhone or somewhere. It's just been, I have a different phone now, so it's obviously not on this phone. But yeah, I had video of that one. It was terrifying. But since then, it hasn't happened again.
It's weird,
and,
though.
There's still times that things either come up missing, or I knew I put it in one place and it ended up in a different place.
Well, I believe that things can pass through. Mm-hmm. And that's something I'm going to discuss in a different video, but I believe that things can pass through and stay for however long it feels like.
Right.
And then sometimes things are attached to things.
And that we live on part of the cave system here, the Mammoth Cave system.
Yes, and there's limestone.
So, this area, and part of the Civil War took place close to here.
Yeah, and this was also the Panhandle.
Yeah, this was also the Panhandle area.